Hello, and this is Hathor segment L,
This is
and
Rael.
we just wanted to get into this, but we're gonna wait for some people to come into the room. We are a little bit late, because we're still doing some of the charts of the progress chart. But I did want to get a little bit into this about the Ascension chart and what we do to be able to find out what's going on with people and what's the truth. Ascension charts are basically a blueprint of your life. Nobody else does this but me and Rael. Rael was taught in spirit how to do this. He's been doing it for over how many years?
Since 2014 when it was being channeled to me. And so I officially given readings by 2015 as far as being able to look through someone's life. So I've had years of expertise as far as seeing different patterns, seeing different algorithms, and we can kind of we'll get into more.
We're definitely going to get into this, and it's just crazy because what's coming up right now is there's a lot of karmic relationships coming out, and a lot of things is that a lot of people don't know is that, hey Kennedy, a lot of people don't know that karma is up. So karma is coming back swiftly, or stuff that you had in the dark is coming to light. So if you have shit in the closet, it's going to come out. So this is just Dwight's turn to deal with his shit. What we're knowing now is that
this is some deep
shit. I mean, like some juicy shit that this dude, like they're connected in some. It's just some crazy. We gotta get into this. I'm gonna wait for some more people. Love, like, share this shit because it's about to get deep. And even what we were finding out with Puffy and Kim Porter is that these karmic lovers are here to teach each other a lesson, and they have to go through some type of transformation. So with Dwight, we're gonna get into it. He's still doing his progress. Dwight is like, his chart is out of this world. His chart is humongous, but there's something where this guy, they're saying he's transgender, but he's not transgender. He's came out, he's wrote a book, and I'm going to pull up his Instagram page if I can. I don't know if y'all know the tea about this. The story behind it is that this guy is coming out and saying that Dwight Howard, and he was his girlfriend, because the dude looks like a girl.
Yeah, he looks like
a girl. He has very long hair. He has very pretty features, but you know he's a man. It's amazing, just how they match up. And we're just seeing. We want to be able to tell you: is this truth? Are these facts? Is the scandal real or not? But it's deeper than the scandal.
We're going to talk about the chart so you can get a good understanding of what's happening. And since this chart is so new, this is not really new to any specific. This is really it's 12th dimensional gematria. So it's a chart. And I don't know if you want to ask certain questions, so we can kind of.
What we do is based off the date that you were born, including the year, you bring in a certain where you ask for a certain blueprint of your life. Have you ever seen this one movie where the angels are dealing with the blueprint of the life, and the people you meet, they change up your life, their doors or their gateways, and they can change your life and alter it. This is something where we do where it's a sister science, right?
Yeah, to astrology.
And we can look into your birthday. So we got the guy's birthday, the alleged boyfriend, and we have Dwight's birthday as well. And we're looking at both the birthdays and looking at the Ascension charts and basically comparing it to see what was going on with Dwight in the past.
Yeah. And the chart is based off there's only, when you look at growth, things are radiating, but they're energetic time markers that in your life, that when you're vibrating higher or lower, depending on what you are, there's certain lessons that you're facing at that time. And there's certain lessons that when we look at a harmonic scale, right, you could be at working on things with structure or learning from teams, but depending on if you're more positive, you can have a positive experience of being in an organization, or you could have a negative experience of that as well, where you could be in jail. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is that when we look at this chart, is that we have energetic expansions, core expansions, that the more and more that we absorb of those lessons, and we are able to take the highest lessons, we're able to learn, evolve, master lessons, and expand to the next wheel or next polarity or that we are to go through, because we really are truly in a simulation where it's almost like we're programs, and it's up to us when we ascend. It's all about how we are working with our thoughts and what we're attracted to. So this is really about your heart, your mind, how those two are working together in this reality. Mm-hmm. And then at some point you have to have pure consciousness to kind of keep evolving some of these energetic ties that we have with people, And so, just like I said before, this is the chart that's based off the Lord's Prayer. Mm-hmm. It's about the art that's created in heaven. And so, when I'm looking down at this chart, it's a God's eye view. It's like looking down at a mouse, seeing exactly all the moves they're going to make, right? And so, if we are to ascend, what it is that we become the full beacon. We become the full voice. Right, because sound is what we truly are using on this reality. We get to use our body, right? We get to use that, but sound is what allows us to interact with each other. For us to have music, for us to have anything, we have sound, and then there's light. So those are the next two constancies that we're looking at, which is sound and light. Right. So that's what this chart is based on. Is how much are we able to become our full beacon based off the experiences that we must go through so we can become full of light. Right?
So we know that there's always surface value of what's going on with the subject, especially when it's scandal is he said, she said. So when we go into this is definitely truth, and the numbers don't lie. And how it's adding up is there's a lot of coincidences and synchronicity of them matching actually up and being actually karmic,
vibrating to each other at the same point in time to take each other through a lesson or an expansion where we're trying to identify.
This was divine intervention, divine timing. Like,
this isn't a conspiracy. This is
no conspiracy. This is no lie. He was meant to be dealing with this man that looks like a woman. He definitely was dealing with them, and it was much deeper than what's being led on by both. I don't know if this is going to be in the guy's book, but the boyfriend is definitely telling the truth, and we're going to back it up and let you see that there is some truth to this. And they were meant to be together. It was divine. It was a matchup that was meant to happen.
You would never think
you
that.
Wouldn't think it,
but
some men, it doesn't matter. Gender, see, religion has you caught up on all this other dumb shit, but spirituality, it just can't lie. Gender has it doesn't matter about the gender. It really doesn't matter. If that's your twin or that's your karmic twin, that's your twin. Same sex.
They almost look exactly like each other.
Same sex can be twins. You can have some soulmate energy, some karmic energy that you had to deal with, and they were linked up. So Dwight, yes, you were probably getting fucked by this man, because they were saying that Dwight is a bottom, that he liked to get stuff.
He wanted it.
So this was a mutual loving. This was a relationship.
So before I begin, kind of talking about both of these people, I just want to show you these charts. These are what we call Ascension charts. All right. So this first chart is Dwight Howard's chart. All right, and what you see here is that he's a person that naturally has the ability to have to build things and to raise things up. He has that natural type of energy. He's actually supposed to be someone who is supposed to be a great, like I would think a natural teacher. He's supposed to be someone spiritual, but somehow he got off course. He got offline. Now here is his boyfriend's chart. Now, over here is one chart where this is about his whole life. And over here, this is the chart that shows what's happening this year. So when you look at this, it's like, wow, what the hell is that, right? But pretty much it's a whole language of numbers that, as I kind of read through this, there is, some information that's going to tell me, and it's going to show you when they actually connect and what's going to happen next. Because this chart it don't just show you what's going to happen. It shows you the expansion, which is the big boom, but then it also shows you the vibration that they'll be working within. So if they're facing jail time or death or anything like that, then pretty much what I'll be looking at is I'll see a certain number, and based on what I'm feeling, because there's a little bit of intuition, there is a little bit of chance that if we are, on the positive side where there's karma, then you may not face jail time. You may face some just isolation, you put away. But if you're on the low end side where your vibration is low, then you could face jail time.
Can I say something? I'm going to say this because I do back my man's work, and he has called it every time when somebody's supposed to go to jail. They ask us going to jail. We pinpointed so many things in people's lives that is. We even pinpoint reincarnation, where we can pinpoint where somebody leaves and dies, or even if it's a child and they come back into the line of the family. So we're able to pinpoint that with these charts. Yeah. So this shit is real.
Because the idea is that when you come in this lifetime, we're all trying to ascend. The idea is that you want to become angelic. Eventually, if you keep ascending, you'll become a saint. You keep ascending. So most of us, they come back in. Some people may want to just party hard this lifetime. Exactly. So you may only got to the second expansion, and you probably signed up to take on more of your family debt, karmic debt that your family may. You may be the brightest light in your family, and you may have to take over the whole burden. Right, so you may come back again, and you may still be working on these certain aspects, and then let's say, if you do expand and great, game over, you don't have to come back and do it no more. But let's say you don't evolve, then now you got to come back. And the thing is, with this chart, I can see based on, if I look at the previous date in life and see what they were working on, I can look at the new, if they are incarnated, to see if they came back to work on something.
Chris, yes, there probably was others, because this is something that happened before the dude came in. He's been doing this, okay? So Dwight has been doing this exploration of duality and messing with the others, messing with in a place that he's not supposed to, because he's quote unquote Christian. But Dwight already had this where in his makeup that he liked to explore. But
he likes different things. He likes different things. It's natural for him to go there.
What we say taboo, but this one was here to serve karma. And unlike Kim Porter, this one was smarter and played it right.
He played it
and
right.
Protect the neck. You know what I'm saying? So we're about to definitely get into this, how they add up. Let's get into Dwight.
Let's get into Dwight, right? So Dwight Howard, he was born on December 8th, 1985. Right? And so it shows that there's two numbers there's two constants that we work with. We work with our the male, female, we work with our mind, and we also work with our heart. So he was a person who worked within the 4 vibration within his thoughts. He loves structure. He likes institutions. He likes anything that shows him a system that he can work in. It's probably the reason why they call him Mr. Mechanical Man in the NBA, because he's very mechanical. But it's he works that way. He thinks very mechanical. You have to show him certain things so he can know how to do it within that system. And then the next thing is that when he's attracted to the number 7 vibration, which is he likes things that are different, that are, he likes to come in and try to fix things and make it better. But he likes, that other side. He likes to take things up to a different notch. He's a feel good type of person. So that's just how he's attracted to those things. So when we look at his life, all right, it shows that he was somebody who had a great deal of energy, almost very much like Kim Porter, where growing up, he observed things, and probably because of his size and stature, they probably wanted him to watch other people so he could probably learn how to play basketball, right? Because he had so much natural, raw, athletic ability. And so that alone, helped him and allowed him to express himself, because growing up and being that tall, you would not think that he would have a hard time expressing himself. So him going into that world of basketball, he was actually learning how to be himself and not feel so at odds with himself, but also learning how to express himself, because he really dealt with a lot of oddness, a lot of duality. He had a hard time grounding his energy just because he was so big. So that was something that he really dealt with early in life, but basketball allowed him to express that and to go into just a different reality. Now his second expansion, this is probably when he's about roughly around 18, maybe 20, and he got drafted very early into the NBA. So it shows that at this time, right, he goes into this new world. I'm sure it's right here, this new world, the duality, this new world. He has a new identity, and guess what? This dude is really strong on himself. He's having to ground this new identity about himself. This is really uplifting. There's a lot of news and information out about him. This is really a really good time for him.
This is his ascension chart. This is his actual ascension chart when he was born. His vibration that he expanded as he's born.
So this is another energetic point in his life where he's going to go through this feel good thing where spiritually he's feeling lifted.
Show what's so weird about him. He is the transformation man. If you see that, all he is going 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7.
There's these 7. So every time that he expands, it's usually something spiritual or something transcendent or something different or odd that makes him go to this next expansion.
Right.
But for him, he's learning a great deal about himself and the reality around him. So that's more of his second expansion. Now it shows that he connects with this man in his third expansion. And it shows that he was really, experiencing odd things. He was in the world of duality.
Can you tell them a little bit about expansions, like the age frame of the expansions?
Usually when we look at expansions, usually the first 2 to 3 is usually 11 years. I look at sun cycles because it usually every 11 years, when we look at numerology, 1 goes to 11. We got to look at that number pattern. So the sun works on the sun, like sun expansions, and so as we kind of go through the first 11 years, we learn certain lessons, and then we go through the next 11 years, we learn certain lessons, then we go through the next 11 years, then we learn certain lessons. So when we look at 11, 22, and 33, those are master numbers. And guess what? At 33 is the youngest age that you can become an ascended master. And the only way you can do that in this world, it is very hard because you're working in this world, in this reality. So you don't get to be out in nature, absorbing all the sun, receiving the daily bread, and really observing yourself. So you don't ascend like a Christ would, which is to abandon this world and to go into the world of spirit and to be taught by spirit. And so that means that you can become a child of God, a child of the sun or sun God, right? Because you leave this reality, you go into the wilderness and you spend time in nature under the sun. So it's like you are being led by spirit, by nature, by everything out there that's teaching you. That's the quickest way you can do it. Most people are not going to be able to do it in this reality because they cannot detach, right? And they're not going to do that work. So this chart is based off of energy expansion, and usually when you become ascended, it's because you spend the time in becoming yourself.
And that's what the chart is about. Numbers just don't lie. We usually, when we do ascension charts for people, we do the tarot with it, but looking at the numbers with him, he definitely came in at the third expansion. And when we progress it,
progress it, it gets even crazy. Right. We see how they link up, that these two are linked up all of this year.
So was there any possible sexual perversion in him in his younger years that he experienced to cause him to actually want to deal with
I would say probably not, just because at this time he's more so observant about his size. He's purely
when he was
massive.
A child?
Yeah, growing up. Yeah, he was really just trying to come into his body because he grew so fast. So most of his time was just watching others and trying to feel about trying how to integrate himself with others. That was the main thing that he was trying to do, is figure out, well, how do I integrate all this size and energy into the world and experience the other side, which is watching smaller people, watching people, having cliques and things like that. So, people doesn't realize that tallness, that height, all that stuff, it plays sometimes against us. Sometimes size can be very awkward for a man. Mm-hmm. Being that tall is like, wow, I'm tall, I'm awkward. Right?
So you feel like there was nothing that he was actually seeing, or if he's seen
I'm saying that as an athlete, he could have got around into the playing around, gay jokes, things like that. But I think as he got older and got into these clubs, and this is what this third expansion is about. What I want you to get because the third expansion is where this whole new reality is offered to him. As soon as he goes to the NBA, right? This is the second expansion. right? He's already going into this world of duality. It's almost like he's entering Hollywood right there. Then once he goes into duality, he's going to have to ground this new duality, which, you know, it looks like where he meets this girl is because he's part of a
man.
Well, I mean,
man
that
looks like a girl.
Well, he meets his man is because he had this thing with women and people, and he dealt with, you know, just sex. He was in that number 6 vibration where this deals with people, this deals with sex, this deals with just men, women, right? So he was into
probably
that whole
couple of orgies going on.
He was a part of these clubs, and this is where he got caught up. Is that this number 4 vibration is that this is a part of a club. He was a part of a club, all right? And so as he was going through this number 6 vibration dealing with people, right, women of sorts, right, there's some information, right, that was about him that kind of got out, right? And this is where this boyfriend of his that he's connected with, because this information, right, this is almost karmic. It's coming back out about him.
11 usually means a lesson. So he circled the 11 at the top. So that's usually a lesson that this person was supposed to learn. And karmic relationships are about tied lessons. So this guy, he was standing his truth of, I'm not a transgender. I'm just a gay man, and I like to look like a woman, and this is all my damn hair, and da 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 da. But the whole thing is that he said he was standing his truth, and he just wanted Dwight Howard to be truthful, even about Dwight Howard probably going and exploring and going into the orgies
to these clubs,
and shit.
Going to these whole
This was already
things.
a set up club, and they both may have met through this type of organization.
They were around, and they both knew the scenery. This is not a thing where Dwight Howard was somehow they were all a part of this circle, and whatever he was doing or whatever they connected with, you know, somehow all of a sudden there was love, and somebody loved somebody more than the other, and that's what this looked like, you know. Mm-hmm. So let's and
I'm thinking it may have been the boyfriend really did care.
All right, so it shows that right now there's some information, there's a karmic lesson, because this is also karmic for Dwight. This is more so spiritual. Most of his evolution is all spiritual.
That's why all those seven.
So this information is more so to kind of wake him up. This is news, and he's really dealing with this energy, because this energy is really about him, you know, and this new possible. What I'm saying is this number 4 vibration, which they both are at right now. Actually, I'm sorry about that. They're at the number 3 vibration right now, where he's dealing with this energy that's out. And this is a point in time where he really can't do anything, but he's watching this energy. He's trying to make a decision on this energy, this news number 5 vibration right here, right? And he's trying to figure out how to deal with this lesson, this karmic lesson that's in front of him, right? And so this is definitely spiritual. This is still dealing with this news. This news is out there. And he's trying to figure out how to deal with this duality, this energy that he has to reflect. Now, it shows what could come around. He's now dealing with this number 4 vibration again. Now, this number 4 vibration depends on if it's karmic. And it seems that what these two had going on, and I think the dude actually reported them to the police.
Yes.
Because he was afraid, and he does have a lot of evidence.
He does.
So what's happening is that Dwight's looking at this number 4 vibration.
Where he could be.
It could be jail time. It could be.
You know what's coming in? What I'm channeling is spiritual arrest. And me and Rod talk about this. Usually, if it's a spiritual arrest, you usually see that person getting locked up in spirit, like in a dream. Mm-hmm. It could be a spiritual arrest on him, which is the karma coming back on him tenfold. Mm-hmm. And this is something that could be his worst nightmare.
It could be.
It could be jail time, where he's actually going to deal with some isolation and go to jail.
And just to kind of explain the vibration around this is that this number 4 vibration is going to lead to a new identity, right? Where he's really going to be dealing with this energy a little bit differently. He's not going to be able to, I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with this, all right? This energy this year, this is about him dealing with this energetically, this information that's now out, all right? This is also a spiritual thing where he's really trying to figure out, well, how do I deal with this information that's out? But what's going to show for him is that he is going to somehow, right, he's going to have to somehow do some type of confession, or he's going to be somehow around some new type of people. Mm-hmm. Because if he gets jail time, right, if this is jail time for him, it shows that he's now going to come to being whole about himself. about his thoughts, about his masculinity. And it shows that for him, all right, this jail time and dealing with people, he's going to be learning something about himself. He's going to be learning about even how he communicates, because people may assume that he's a little bit immature. All right, for his size.
Yeah.
So people are going to probably
and that's
be
one thing that
back to him.
The boyfriend said is that he was silly, he was this, he was that, he was kind of, that's what he was attracted to.
So he shows that he's going to be dealing with some this communication, and this is going to be the hardest thing about it. He's going to have to really deal with how he's been communicating and how people see him. And so this is going to be a spiritual lesson where it's going to make him maybe reclaim his masculinity. Maybe jump back into that divine, that divine masculine energy, because he was here to do a great work, but he's off track. And
he wasn't just meant to be a basketball player. That's what Rael was saying about his chart. Is that this man was supposed to be doing much more? So was it that was
Dwight Howard.
Okay, now we're gonna get into the boyfriend.
All right. Now with the boyfriend, his chart is a little bit different. He's somebody that's energetic, but they both are the same type people. They were almost like soulmates. Where the Dwight liked structures and systems, his boyfriend likes it too. So they really when they came together and thought and worked together, they really had a system on how they did things. They had an actual mutual understanding of how they worked. That's how they came together. And when they were with each other, they had fun. They actually liked being with each other. Like this was not a thing where they were just they were actually compatible. It's kind of crazy to say it that way, but all right. Now with the boyfriend, it shows that he was a person that was really attracted to information, possibly money, because he's a Leo. So he was really into he was into duality too, like his nature, just duality. Yeah. And he was born on the second day. He was born on the second day, so he was naturally into thinking dualistic thoughts. All right, but it shows early in his life, he was somebody who was very introverted. He was very quiet, and he dealt with his identity. All right, his identity was the hardest thing for him to deal with. And as he was coming into certain thoughts about himself, it was hard to take it. Yeah, as he was coming into certain thoughts about himself, all right, for him, he was naturally spiritual, and he was very an uplifting type of outgoing type person, just a little introverted. And for him, he liked people. And the one thing he was really working on as he was growing up is the ability to communicate and express himself. And that's probably he finally got it. Yeah, that was the one thing where he probably became more feminine, because he had a hard time expressing himself, and it was easy expressing himself as a female. So for him, he became more feminine than masculine. And that's some things that we tell people to watch when you have children. Certain children are more impressionable than others. And if he really wasn't able to speak, he probably looked at a woman that was probably boisterous or, expressed herself. And he probably looked at that and said, that's what I need to be. So and he became growing his hair, became being a woman. Yeah. Right? And so once he kind of established his identity, and this is what I would say probably around 18, 19, maybe even 20, right? And he decides that he is going to be this thing all the time, right? He really was trying to go into this world of duality and really try to ground this energy. He was really going to take on the energy in the second expansion, right? Of becoming this new thing. And for him, it really brought him into money. And it seems that he's attracted to money. So that's what kind of got him into that world of being. Also, he's a person with your charts is that he's a person, different vibrations do different things with their charts. And he's a person who gets behind people and pushes them, kind of like Kim Porter was, that he could be a good manager. He could be a good cheerleader for somebody. He was basically probably could have been somebody that motivated Dwight. But in his chart, when you look at this information, this money led him to this number 7 vibration, which is transcendent. So he was into this whole transcendent nature, all right there. And then you can see that transcendent nature brought him into this number 4 vibration, which is like a club. Like he was a part of a club, and this is what people where they were together, and it was more sexual. This is a sexual type of thing where he was a part of this group of people where they were getting down and they was.
So he's not probably all
clean like you say. It's like they were all.
I mean, he wrote a book about him being what? I guess I forget what the words exactly, but he obviously is telling his truth about who he's been with, on what he's been doing within this industry.
So he's at his third expansion right now. All right, so I'm assuming he's probably, I don't know what he's 23. So he's 23. Yeah, he's at his third expansion. He's about right there.
But 23, if he is 23, that adds up to 5. So he's communicating.
Oh yeah, he's in that
expressing
5
himself.
vibrations.
He wrote a book, so he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Right, he's doing it this year. So in his third expansion, it shows that he's dealing with duality, right now. So there's some opposite news, some things that, and it could be heartbreak. It's him experiencing something, but it shows that he's trying to get over something energetically, something that happened to him, and it could be heartbreak. Of Dwight, and so at this time when he was going through this heartbreak, he came to a 0 point where he felt complete about expressing himself and his transcendent nature. So this book is not just about Dwight. This book is about his transcendent nature, about being being gay, and being into that world.
He's not transgender, which he really doesn't go by. He can't be transgender if he doesn't have the breasts or the yoni. He doesn't have either. He's just he has a man body, and then I don't know if y'all seen him, and then he has long hair and he has a pretty face like a woman. He's just almost like a prince.
Yep.
Type of look.
And so what's going on here is that he's with this number 4 vibration, which could deal with him possibly doing a business, a book, right? He's doing a book.
And what expansion is that?
This is the third expansion.
So he's in his third.
This is him dealing with Dwight right now.
And Dwight is in his third.
Yep. So they both met at the third expansion. Yep. Dwight was doing his thing in the lead, and he was into clubs and to girls, and that's where he met him, right? So they met at the clubs. This is all sexual, right? So with him, he's writing his book, and it's about his identity.
Right now, we're going over the boyfriend's ascension chart. We went over, if you probably would have to see it from the beginning, we went over Dwight Howard's ascension. We are claiming that this is definitely true. By the ascension charts, it's a sister science to astrology. It's an ancient science that Rael learned in spirit that we usually do for our clients. You can get a ascension chart for yourself. You can
or if you would like to get coaching, because I know we speak with some people, and we do a chart. We may go through the whole chart.
I actually wrote and commented on the boyfriend's post, like, I know you're telling the truth, and we know spiritually wise. So, hey, if you see this, get in contact with us. Maybe we can help you to guide out of this maze, because you got some shit on the way for you for actually writing this book and exposing.
Yeah, he's got it, because right now he's writing this book, and it's about this thing that happens to him with this number 1 vibration. There's something that happened to him personally, but this is about his identity. And him just out there fighting Dwight and fighting these people, this is really him fighting for himself.
Right.
Because they are threatening to do things to him. So, he really started to cover himself.
And it's true. And he did right. And he actually played it smart, because you never know. He could have ended up dead. Yeah, because
Kim Porter, if she would have played it right, she would have did what this girl did, what this guy did, which is he got so much proof that they just couldn't kill her. All right. But for him, after he does this thing with this book about himself, you can see that this book right here, this number 5 vibration, and this is when he actually starts to move. He's going to this is him really jumping into his identity. He's going to speak more, and he's already doing it right now, right? But he's going to be expressing a great deal of energy about something that happened to him, and this is about someone's dualistic nature, but he's going to be communicating that to the people, right? So that's where he's going in his life. And it shows that this could be something that could even go to court. This is something that's going to be an actual drawn out type of thing where it could go to court. So when we look at the progress chart of Dwight.
And is that the guy's chart? The boyfriend?
No, this is Dwight's chart.
Okay.
Right? So with Dwight, it shows that this year he's dealing with this information. All right, that's this club that he's dealing with. Or this could even be legal matters, because it shows that when he deals with this is a great deal of energy that's coming to him, and he's dealing with the number 1 vibration, which is about his identity. But it shows that he's either going to somehow go into isolation from this, and that could be through jail time or whatever, or just getting away and maybe getting away from all of this, right? But what he's going to be dealing with is this communication. This is this number 5 vibration that's coming out, and this is also karmic lesson, and he's going to have a hard time with his psyche.
I just see that there's a pattern coming out with these celebrities, and it's a lot of dealing with this duality and karma. And Chris had said that, I don't know if he's still on, but he was saying that I think it's going to happen to a lot of these athletes and celebrities, and it is. It's just that their time is up, and there's no more grace. There's no more grace period for some of the shit that they have done and how they sold. A lot of them have sold out. They sold their soul. So, this world is ending right now. When people say that it's an end to the world, it's not an end to the world. It's just an end to their world. It's an end to the evil world, the elite world. So they're doing everything they can to break down souls and to get these people, they
want to get everybody into this whole world where the opposites is what it is. So that if you're into what they're into, then guess what? You're just as guilty as they are. You're going down. You in hell too, and you don't even know it. So that's what they're trying to keep pushing in this reality. But all of this is so connected, and it's like soul connections, soul contracts.
So they actually signed up for this.
Yeah, and the idea is that you want to come back and you want to rework the karmic, and you want to get it right this time around. So a lot of the relationships that a lot of people are in are soul connections, where a soul partner is trying to wake you up and to get you to become more serious about reality. And so a lot of these lessons are coming out about these celebrities, but even in just reality itself, some of the friends and people that you're seeing breakups and all type of things happening, it's because of these soul contracts ending.
I'm smiling because I'm like, try us. See if we're actually bullshitting. Like, try us. Get an Ascension chart, please. We'll take 20% off. For anybody who is watching this and you mention it and you remember that I said 20% off, hit us up in the inbox. It is by quote, and we have to get your birthday, including year. And even if you want to do something with a relationship and see if you're a karmic, we can even see about reincarnation. We are able to look into that. We're able to go and dive deep. This shit it's real. Like I hate to say it so blunt, but it's real. And we're able to do it. Try us. If you think we're bullshitting, try us. That's all I can say is that we have stand the test of time. We've been doing this for many years now, and you can look at our work. You can even look at Kim Porter and Puffy. That's a three-part thing. We're not going to drag this out, but definitely these two are karmic lovers, and
what I like to call this is like the cheat sheet to your life.
Exactly.
Right? Instead of going through astrology where you have to see exactly when alignments and when planets are going to be in certain times for things to happen, this is based off the lesson that you come here to learn. And so as you ascend to become the full version of yourself, and people say, well, is a chart like this for everybody who's born on certain days? I said, no, you just have the same signature. You may not use the same paint, you don't have the same DNA, same lineages, all these other things that go into it, but guess what? The vibration is the same.
Because we've had twins. We've had twins come to us, and they have the same identical chart, but they're going to go through different things. And also, with the Ascension chart, it's not just us doing the numerology and channeling on that. We do tarot, too. So it's a two-part thing. You have to get a quote. You just inbox us, and then we quote you. Only serious people, because people hear the price. It's not cheap. Again, it's not cheap. If you would like to do something a little bit cheaper, you can do the progress to know what you need to do this year, because a lot of people don't know that they're not on the right path. A lot of people, this energy that's coming in is making people feel tired. People are tired of working. People are tired of doing stuff for other people. It's because you're not on the right path.
Yeah, and your soul is right now. Your soul is trying to connect and ground itself. And so now this energy that's flooding in, if you're not in line, every time that you get up and do something that's not aligned with your soul, you're going to feel the wear on your body. You're going to feel the drain. All right. And so what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of people getting old. It's like they're going to decay because guess what? You're going against the frequency. You're going against the vibration where you're supposed to probably be resting and getting yourself, rejuvenated and just restored, and getting your body salvaged. right, where you can get it restored, we are out there wearing ourselves down and trying to continue to work in this new reality, this old reality that's dying. So as this new energy kind of comes forth, right, the people who kept their energy, kept their spiritual energy, did not give their energy, filled themselves up with their energy. Now when the frequency is in that the field of Aquarius, which is about thought, it's about manifestation, right? So now all those people, it's almost like a heavyweight bout. And you see this little guy, David, he's taking on the guy, Goliath, right? And that's exactly what this whole relationship with Dwight and his partner, it's like a David and Goliath type thing, because the partner is taking on this big Dwight Howard and the team and the people that's behind Dwight Howard.
It's so funny because Rock was saying, like, he loved the fact that Dwight Howard was all big and tall, and it made him be able to get into his feminine energy. But now what he loved is now against him. Something bigger than life now is against him. What he loved that made him feel feminine, probably really go for Dwight, now is almost like, now I gotta stand up to this big nigga and everything behind him.
Because him being
save myself.
Because him being a gay man, just imagine having a 6'11" man. You know, he probably would make him feel like a girl, right? And he probably felt easier to say that I'm a woman, right? But when you look at this time, now, that's what this is about, is that, the people who are being rewarded are people who endured in this reality. It's like this reality wants to take that energy from you. And you are like that boxer, that boxer that's small. Everybody's counting you out, but you're enduring life. You're enduring all the stresses that's come to you, but you haven't lost any of that spiritual energy. And so guess what? Now the time is right. The energy is here. The stage is being set. Everything's being cleared. The canvas is being, you're given a new canvas, and now you're given the ability to create. And so all that spiritual energy, all that energy that's been reserved is now being brought back to the forefront. And so now you can go into the new era and create without blocks. And so that's what a lot of us are going to experience, those who've been kind of, life has been a little hard for us,
And I just ask people to keep an open mind, because a lot of people, they hear about these ascension charts, and people get scared that you can actually see them so well and look into their past, present, and future. But I say that everybody needs the roadmap, and I say find out. I don't care. This information is priceless. So the quote shouldn't mean anything to you if you really are on your spiritual path and you really want to get into your work, because we don't do this just to make money. We also do this to help you, because we are spiritually gatekeepers, and we want to open up that door for you, push you through that door and say, here's your path. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Because some people would do a new business and be, why is it not working? Why is it not working? Oh, because you were really supposed to be a teacher, or you were really supposed to be doing this, or you were really not supposed to be a secretary. You're supposed to be an interior decorator. We actually had a woman that went on for 30 years being a secretary and was supposed to be doing all this different stuff. 30 years, had one child, no man after that, was supposed to meet different men, supposed to go through different doors, but did not take that opportunity and stayed in one expansion for 30 years. That could be you. That could be you right now. So I say, even if you're young, get the ascension chart. I hate to say it that way, is because we had to use the spiritual tea, to even attract our own Black people. Because right now, these white people feel like they have it locked down. They feel like they have the spiritual thing locked down, but they don't have what we have. And what me and Ryle have been doing for so long, and you're going to hear the passion in me, is that we're fighting for y'all. We're trying to open up doors for y'all, but y'all don't want it.
And the chart that you see for Papa Legba, you see it, you can see the diamond, right, which represents frequency, which represents crystallization. Right. When you look at this chart is all of the ancient sciences that our ancestors used to use. All right. But it's now, I call it a, vibrational chart, frequency chart, vortex. This is about you and your light body, about how do I get my light body? When do I get my light body? This is the science behind getting your light body. All right. So you have to go through some lessons and go through some experiences to achieve a greater light. You just can't sit there and meditate and be in one place and say, "I just by sitting here, I'm going to get my light body."
It's time to wake up.
No,
wake up.
Spirituality is going through life. Life is spirit. Spirit represents energy. So if we don't know the language to express energy, how can you tell me and when I'm done, when I'm finished? Right? Is that when you meet someone who has the Creator's language and the Creator's tools, I can tell you when you're going to make it home to yourself and when you're going to be your greatest version and what the greatest version looks like. Right? And
You're
it
not
could change.
just here. Some of you are here to just have a portal child. Some of you are here to have a business. Some of you are here to raise and build something creative. There's so many paths, but how do you pinpoint and know exactly what is the path? You have to understand what is your path. And we do this for all types of people. We do this for all types of people, but we want to really give it to our Black people. We want to give it to our people to understand what's going on.
So,
I'll be right back.
yeah, so she's going to get to a child, but that's what the chart is. When sometimes when a gift is brought down from heaven, some people just look at it like this is a hustle. This chart is for people. It's an actual magic that when we work with information, right? When we work with information, it's not just us that's receiving the information. It's our higher selves that's also in the picture too. And so when you meet a master on earth, it's like your higher self is also meeting with that master in heaven. We're not just have a spiritual self, right? That we call our higher self. Or like I like to call this our invisible double, right? And so this is the part of yourself, the spirit of yourself that you're transfiguring. The spirit is like when we look at ourselves working out in this world and getting this body bigger, right, and getting stronger. Now you got to ask yourself, well, how do I get my spiritual body stronger? How does my spirit get stronger? How does my soul become online with the Almighty Self is online operating, right? So this is the chart that tells you that once you finally activate and you go through your journey and you attract your light body is then going to go about another journey, right, to actually find and locate your soul, right? Because your soul, you don't automatically get that. That is something through tremendous suffering and through tremendous pain. That information that lay dormant came back online and resurrected a new and an even greater self that's greater than the spirit that's manifested at that time. Right.
So it started off just going with some tea, but I think it's definitely take this shit seriously. It's serious because right now, this time that we're in is the only time of right now that door opening for ascension. People think it's just play. Oh, just jump in. I heard somebody say, just jump in.
Jump in.
Jump in where? You got to know where to jump in. Where is your path? What are you doing? You have to have a purpose. A lot of people who say just jump in and they don't have the fucking answers. We do. And we're telling you that you have a purpose, you have a path, and there's something that you should be doing it. So Black people, wake up. Get on your shit because these white people think they have it locked down and they're not opening up doors for you spiritually. So you got to wake the fuck up because y'all not. Y'all are playing. And we're here and we're open and we're wide and open and we only got 3 viewers. Like, come on now. We do this for anybody that it comes to. But I think it's just to the point that I'm getting fed up with our people being so damn dumb and it's blatant and right in front of you. The help. But y'all don't want it. Y'all want to still be slaves. Y'all still want to work. Y'all would still want to say that there's another tomorrow, there's another day, but there's not. Wake the fuck up.
And the thing is that for sitting and not doing, most people are just watching. Right? We still got a lot, the whole Katrina thing. That we wait
Before
for the last minute.
Late.
And then we try to do something, but it's too late. And so with this type of situation, now this is about your soul. And this is about this whole new change of era and shifting of energies. And so that means that when the energies are shifting, you have to know how to go with the flow. What is the next boat? What's the next thing that we're shifting to? Your soul is being graded. Is it going to shift to the new reality? Can it even handle a new reality.
Because a lot of people are not able to handle this reality. A lot of this frequency that's coming down on people, their hearts are jacked up, so they're having strokes, they're having heart attacks, they're having all types of complications.
See, this next expansion is about us are really becoming world citizens. And some of us are being prepared to become a world citizen, right? Some people say, oh, you're going to be famous. No, you're going to be a world citizen. That means that your talents and whatever it is that you do is needed by the world. So some people being groomed for that, where you're going to be presented to the world. Some people are going to be groomed where they're still presented to their community, right? They're going to be doing those things. Other people be groomed for even greater matters. So it's like now you have to just see, am I going to be a world citizen? Am I preparing myself for that? Am I getting the knowledge so that when I go in the world, I can see people and still know how to communicate at a high level, and that I'm bringing something to the table?
Because it's not just karmic twins. You have other twins that you are supposed to meet that can raise you up in a higher vibration. And we just want to get that out to the people, especially our people. And I keep on saying that because I wanted to drill it into whoever is watching's head. They get this now because it's not always going to be available, and we already know that. We know our timing, we know our path, we know what we're
it's a script. This is all a script, and so the people who know how to write, know how to read the script and play their parts. It's almost like you can choose to go in the world, and you can give your life, your energy, all of that. You can give that
and wait for retirement.
And wait for retirement. Or even wait for the time when you're destined to, because sometimes it's destiny. Sometimes it's meant for you to do something at a certain time. And so some people say, well, if I'm meant to do something at a certain time, then I ain't doing shit till it's time to do it, right? So some people may take that role, and those are the people we call the lost souls, or people who just they're the deadbeats, the rejects. And I think that there are people out there who were rejected from the old society, but if you were smart, right, and you knew you had a talent, then that means that sometimes you just got to go under the radar. Maybe get lost. Maybe go cultivate yourself a little bit more. Because what's going to happen is, if you look at any other celebrity or anybody who's done something, there's somebody who came and got their ass out the store, found them in the car, found them somewhere over there, just found them and said, I need you to go do this set. That's what I want you to realize, is that you can preserve your life. If you know you're destined to do something great, then preserve your essence and preserve your time. Don't just give it away, right? But keep that magic. Keep all that creativity. There's a lot of starving artists and people that out there who just giving away their energy and their abilities because they're trying to break in. Sometimes it's not your time.
Exactly.
It's not your time to go right now. Sit back, get better, cultivate yourself. Chill out.
We even know, and we can even look in the Ascension chart and say, you're not supposed to have children. Are you meant to be alone because you're supposed to be doing self-mastery, or you're meant to be a guru? We know those things when we look at your chart, and a lot of people are not meant to be wives.
Right. Some people are meant to be second wives or third or whatever.
And some men are not meant to be husbands, and we're never supposed to be married, never even supposed to be involved.
Not supposed to have kids, and sometimes we're mixing with people, and we're expecting harmony, and it's already calculated to be a disaster.
And then you're fucking up timelines, basically. You're going to fuck up a timeline and jump onto somebody else's energetic chords and be in their frequency.
Now that's going to be a whole nother discussion about a karmaless future. All right, this karmaless future is going to be because we know how to create enlightened babies. Right now, we're not creating babies that are still carrying the same karma or carrying the sins of their mothers and father. We'll have babies who are not carrying any karma, but they'll come in ready to create for the future.
Because Dwight, as big as this nigga's chart is, I'm sorry.
He got a lot of people to see.
He got a lot of shit to do. Y'all see all of that? You see that? That's a big ass vibration. Some people's are tiny. Dwight Howard, you got some shit to do, brother. And I just hope you get through it. And I don't think you probably will.
No, I don't think he's going to send.
Not going to. This probably his lifetime. He probably will not.
I think when he falls from grace, a lot of people are going to be taken off their thrones. You're going to see a lot of this. The news ain't stopped. This is going to continue all the way into March. It's going to keep coming, all right? And then after March, going into April, you're going to see new foundation, new structure, new things being built. But that's some further predictions that I'm doing way out into the future. But, that's just to kind of let you know. But, a lot of the things that we experience is already karmic. It's already set in stone.
It's already set.
What you can do is learn how to play your role better, right? And not have too many errors where you can evolve. And sometimes you may be at a time where you experience a lot of what I call just waiting time, where sometimes that's what happens, because you got to wait for certain people to meet up with you at a certain time. So if you evolve out of the lesson much quicker than another person, then you may just be at a place where you just stand. You're waiting. You're waiting till that time where you two can connect, when the vibrations are right, where they're now pushed to be there where you are. So
I think that's it. And I just want to say you can always inbox us to get an Ascension quote. And also we do progress charts. That's usually 65, and that helps you to pinpoint where you are supposed to be at and what time are you supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm. As you said, Kennedy said, I love people. I love fuckery. This is not entertaining enough. It sat on the 3 viewers. Yes, only 3. But that's what it is, though.
I think it's not. We're not meant to try to I guess entertain. We're here to bring in information, and sometimes you got to bait and give people the chicken, so they know that behind the chicken there's gold and there's jewels. So whoever receives it. Whoever takes it seriously takes it seriously. You ain't making a break of me. You really are not. I done did my jumps. I'm at my Ascension.
I just think that we live in a world where people really don't believe that there's higher forces that's playing.
And there's people here in the flesh that's doing it. Because I had some people knowing, you calling on my government or whatever. This is for you. No, you can call out my government all you want to, but that's not me anymore. People are meant to evolve and to change and to grow. And when you know who you are, you stand in your seat like a queen.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I am.
The idea is that you want to evolve. You want to evolve fully as a spirit, as a person. And then once you reach your angelic self, then guess what? You're no longer the same person, right? And so eventually you will go through a name change. You see a lot of people, when they get into the spiritual identity, they go through a name change, right? But you got to realize that is not where it stops, right? Because that's just the spiritual stuff. You go through, depending on who you are, you may go through several different name changes.
Or even go back to that name and then come back and then push forward and say, this is not me. There were certain things that were said in my life that I found out that I was like, I was supposed to go through that. It almost makes you be able to digest it and get over that shit quickly. Like, I was supposed to go through that. Now, what's next? What's next? What's next? And that's what we're supposed to be doing, is saying, what's next? And then jumping onto that and knowing that I can keep pushing forward. I can do my jumps. Even with your children, you should be finding out their Ascension chart. You should be finding out their information. We usually do the kids charts for only $45. But we tell you what you should be doing with the children to help them grow up to get to the point of what they need to get to.
It's like,
because they have stuff that they
I put it this way, once you find the Wi-Fi, that signal, and that's what it is. It's a signal that we all have. Once you say the right thing or trigger the right thing, it's easy to drive that person into that direction to get them to do it. So it's important that when you see you have an Ascension chart and you say, well, they're probably working within this whole vibration of 6. So man, they could be into athletics, they could be into modeling, they could be into people, sex, right? You start to get a good feel of what they could be into. And so it's like, if you ever watch this movie Tinkerbell, that you have to bring certain things to people to see if it'll spark. Just like when you have a lighter, it don't just always come on. You may have to flick it a couple of times to get it, especially with if it's not full of oil. And I would say that oil is information, so children don't have a lot of oil, right? So it's almost like you got to help them with a little bit of your oil to help them figure out what's going to be their fire, right? So that means that you have to bring all these things to them. And even in Buddhist temples, right, when they would want to discover if they had a reincarnated being, they would bring old toys to them. And whichever the toys that being was attracted to, they were able to determine if this person was reincarnated or if they're this person. Go ahead.
I was just also going into, because I put up a video and it always says check birthmarks. You can know if you're reincarnated and what happened to you through birthmarks. One of our sons, Sincere, he has a birthmark right on his back where he got stabbed in his back from the person that he was in the past. Some stuff and some betrayal did happen to our son, and now he's back and he's reincarnated and he has certain work that he has to do. This is all real, and white people know this. So black people, y'all need to understand this and really believe that it's true, and stop saying all this, putting the ghost and shit, and thinking that la-di-da-di-da, this just da-da-da-da-da. No, come try us, because we always are on our A game, and if you really want to know the truth,
and we got to get to this thing of reincarnation. You got to believe in it,
right?
And that's what that's the big blind spot with black folks is, people of colors, that we don't believe that ancestors and even the gods and people that you saw in the Bible and the people would not come back again in a different vessel, in a different time, with a different mind. But if you listen to them, the essence is very much the same. I could be poor, but you can still hear the richness at even the word choice, at how it's being presented to you. So it's like, we got to get into that mode of seeing it, because if you don't see it, then you miss the boat.
Or get caught up and be in the jungle, because a lot of these fools is going to the jungle and thinking that that's where you get your ascension. Babylon is a system that's all over the place. The Matrix is a system that's all over the place. You cannot escape it. It is what it is. But there's some other work that you have to do. So we definitely went off subject, but it gets funky like that sometimes. We ain't just gonna in spirit, it's channeled. Whatever comes through is meant to come through, and whatever is meant to be said is said, and whoever comes on, if it resonates with you, it resonates with you. If you don't, and you just see this and you say boring, a snooze, well then you missed out.
I put it this way, that's the manifestation. It's the proof. If you want to know if this world is a simulation, I can prove it. Right? I can prove it, right? So it's like, that's what happens is when you figure out this whole reality, right? And you start to see that there's certain programs, then the idea is that you learn to go through the vertical ascension. That means that you can take the spiritual path, which is the inward path. The inward path leads you to the outward path.
Chris said, I have a big birthmark on my lower back. I have a high birthmark on my back as well.
Well, you got to see that wound on the lower back could show some type of significance.
You got to look at the shape.
And also the shape, because they could also show where you could have had a blow, where you could have received a blow to that area, or it could have been a hip injury, or it could have been something in that area where you could have experienced something. But what happens is that once you figure out the story and you look at your life is all of the actions that you chose to do, everything that you're going through, right? From certain points in your life, if you have a coincidence, right, it starts as curiosity, right? But you got to do the spiritual seeking and diving to try to spark that connection with that reality. And then through your own intentions, pure intentions, it's like if you really desire to know, it's like a reception that maybe every here and there you may have a dream where you may get a glimpse of this, and you may get a picture. And then another dream, you may get a picture, a glimpse, right? But you say, oh man, I saw myself, and I saw Calvary, I saw this. It's like, that's the homework. See, the thing is that most of us are in the third dimension, and you're trying to master the sixth dimension.
And you can't. A lot of people don't dream, and that's the biggest thing. Is if your crown chakra is not open, you don't dream, and if you do dream, you don't remember it. So what do? You have to do some type of work to help you to open up your crown chakra, and that's another thing that Rael does that nobody else in this world really does. Truly,
is the crown chakra a real crown chakra blessing? A darshan blessing, and you can only get that from a true living master. And there's not many on the planet that can do what I do. And so I look normal to you all, but I assure you I'm not all normal, right? So it's like when you receive a crown chakra blessing, what it allows you is it's like a pass into the dream world, where you can go and receive those messages, and the reception is a little bit more clear, because it's like when you have somebody who's bringing pure white light, heavenly light, and able to channel it inside your being, it's allowing you a connection to go into the higher realm.
This is all channeled. Why I'm just like, ooh, it's a game. Just like you see other people. Have you ever seen Kung Fu Hustle? Anybody seen Kung Fu Hustle? I mean, it's a classic. Kung Fu Hustle is where the people they were masters at what they did, but they were in disguise as just straight up ghetto ass Asian people in a ghetto hood, but they were actually real motherfuckers. They was a real deal, and if you came in their hood, you would get fucked up. So a gang went into their hood, and they let them know, hey, we get down like that. So you have these people that are hidden. Like even in Hollywood, where they had the checkerboard, they always are showing the checkerboard. Look at Cardi B. She has a checkerboard. You can look at any movie, a majority of the time, not even the checkerboard, the fucking chessboard. The chessboard, the black and white, the duality. They're always showing you that. Even in the Mason shit, they show you the board. There are people that are key players that are on this board. And a lot of black people in that entertainment industry are in it. And that's why they cover their eye. And the jokes is on you, nigga, and they put in their songs. And you,
they let you know that they went to a gatekeeper.
And they laughing at your asses.
They let you know that they had to go to a gatekeeper. Or they went to the Jew. Or they went to this guy. They went to this guy. Right. And this guy allowed them entry into that world. Exactly. And so that's the world of power, money, darkness, all that stuff. And they do their rituals in that world. And you have to pay your dues.
And a lot of black people don't know what they're getting to, because a lot of people, they go in, they be Masons, they be Eastern Stars, they get into all of that shit. And they really don't know that the ladder goes up. It goes up with the boule and everything else. And you go into you're in the frats, you're in the sororities, and it keeps going up. It keeps on going up that ladder, and you get mixed up into some shit
and the
that
thing
you
is,
don't even know.
You never know who is actually leading it, because you're not supposed to know who's the actual, the head. So the head never shows himself.
So it's hiding in plain sight.
He's the hidden hand.
Right.
He's right in front of you, but you don't know he's the hand moving all the pieces. And so it's the same thing. Like there are pieces for the dark, there's pieces for the light. And so the light has hidden hands and hidden pieces, where people who are doing things in the dream world and that you can't see, right? So it's like when you want to move up in this reality, and now the keys are being given back to the light, and I already know because I already received them, right? So I already know, and so it's like now it's about a race to position yourself, about where do you want to be placed. And so a lot of people, it's your idea is to seek the wizard or seek the king, or whatever you want to call it. And there is a real king. There's all these gatekeepers, and there's people that allows you entry into the new reality. And so that's what's happening is that most people don't know where to go. You know you're supposed to go somewhere. You know you're supposed to be seeking some type of Christed awareness or something.
Christ consciousness.
You're supposed to be going to meet somebody at the door. I don't know, the gatekeeper, Legba. I don't know who, Abadala. I don't know who I'm supposed to talk to, but I know I'm supposed to pray to him.
Right.
And so people don't realize is that gods also want to be flesh. Gods also have to come back and recertify themselves.
And play the game.
And play the game and be a human and have to go and have to sin each lifetime.
It's like the Hunger Games. Y'all just don't know. Y'all just don't even fucking know. Y'all really, really don't. It's like the Hunger Games, and you're put in pairs. And you have to do this shit no matter what. And when you really get into the game, you know how hard it is. And you know that it's not easy. People were looking at us like we were crazy because we were all over the damn country doing this work. But now
we was on the country on mission. We was following
doing
shit
we had no choice. And a lot of people don't understand that this is not a choice. Once you get into it, it's a game.
It's a game. It's almost like I think they used to have one of them tours where a couple would go all over the world, and they would have to solve clues and do these little things.
The Amazing Race.
The Amazing Race. And that's what it is that Ascension is like the Amazing Race. Is that when you want to ascend, it's not like I'm just going to live my life and do the same thing and I'm going to ascend. And no, it's a breaking out. It's a liberation of the soul. It's something that you have to do, that once you decide to say, fuck it. Let it roll.
And a lot of people going to be saying fuck it on a mass scale.
All right. You ain't said fuck it yet. You ain't said I'm done. A lot of y'all can still go a couple more years in the Matrix, right? You ain't ready yet, because the real test is the one of survival, where it helps to unlock hidden abilities. It's meant to put you into some situations where you are forced to become something different, right? It's that a lot of folks are not going to put themselves. A lot of people have built up too much wealth, and so that's why they say the last shall finish first. Because guess why? We ain't got shit to lose.
The first shall be last, and guess who is the first shall be last? Is the demigods, the celebrities, the stars. They are the last. So
because they got too much to lose. It's like when you got this house, this car, you got all these things. You're not gonna say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give up all this shit. I'm gonna be a fucking bum, right? And then I'm gonna survive off of my God's bread. Whatever my God sends me, I'm gonna do what my God sends me to do. Your higher self. That's why I'm saying your God. Your higher self is your God. There's always a supreme deity, but you have your higher self, your God that you're listening to, right? That's what I'm talking to. It's like when you say there's a Messiah just sitting here, he's on a planet, and he says, all right, you guys, it's time for y'all to get in line. Your higher self is here. I'm here to make sure that when I bless you, you can connect with that person. It's time for you to do your work, right?
It's not about that cult shit that a lot of people are doing, like follow me. The true work was to teach the people and then send them back to their tribe. And that's what we're all about. We don't want you to follow us. If anything, spread it to other people, and we teach you and we send you on your way, and we help you to be the biggest and the brightest you. That is it. That is the work that should be done. Any light worker or anybody, but you have to. We can't push you through the door. You have to come through it. And that is the thing that has been paying us for the longest that we've been doing this work is, will the black people take that shit, or will the white people take it for themselves?
Now this is where black folks also wrong, because this is getting a little bit deeper than Dwight today, and I'm glad it is, right?
Right.
But people are going to this church and thinking about going to those churches is serving the church. You have to understand that the first church was a man, and he came down from heaven as the church, as the Holy Spirit on earth, and through serving him, it was serving the church. So these people, you go into these churches and you're giving money, you're not serving the Spirit. You're not serving that man either. So right now, you could say for the last, I don't know how many something years, y'all been serving nobody. Y'all ain't been serving the Holy Spirit. You supposed to be serving for your own deeds and merits. You don't serve through the church when you go to the church. It's like saying, it's like the lazy way of saying, I'm just gonna give my money to the church and let them deal with it. It's just like the people. Instead of us taking back power, we say, I'm just gonna cast my vote to my congressman and let my congressman deal with it. Right? That's laziness.
I say choose yourself. If you can't bet on your damn self, then you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
That's like saying, I'm putting it all on Gina, myself. I'm putting it all on me. I'm putting all bets on me. How many of you can raise your motherfucking hand and say, I believe in what the fuck I do, and I'm putting all bets on myself?
And for all the people who are in religion, right? This is what Malcolm, I always say, if you can combine these two characters, those two, if they could have worked together, they would have been a Messiah combination, Martin Luther and Malcolm. Right? Malcolm was right because he said, by any means necessary, you have to really be willing to knock at your master's door. You have to be willing to stay the core and stay on the front lines and not back down. By any means necessary. But at the same time, you got to at least climb to the mountaintop, reach enlightenment, and have the dream for all, so you can know exactly how and why you're doing this by any means necessary thing.
And your enlightenment is not the same as somebody else's enlightenment. Your ascension is not the same as somebody else's ascension. Like we said, twins can have the same actual frequency, but go about it a different way. We had looked at twins where one was supposed to be the mommy and had the business. The other one's supposed to be straight up business. So there's different things that you're supposed to do. Some people are coming back in. Like we were going into reincarnation with the ancestors. I had two of my ancestors that wanted to come back as twins. So there's ancestors is looking and saying, hey, I'm going to jump back into this shit because I love you. I love this family. I want you to reach your ascension. And a lot of these little kids that are coming into this earth are reincarnated ancestors here to help your ass. And you don't even know it because you thrown them in school and you're not even paying attention to them.
They said, damn, they lost, and your ancestors are seeing what you're going through. So that karma, they know that you're only going to create more of the same thing. So they got to come back, try to wake you up. But most people are so dumb that they're not being hip to what's happening. The divine play the art that's created in heaven. So heaven is trying to create trying to repair on earth. And so messengers, ancestors, people got to come back, and they keep doing this thing, and we keep having the same cycle happening over and over
again.
Right? And so now we're at a time where the divine messengers are here and say, hey, I'm here to solve all your problems. All right, but you got to come to me. You got to learn from me so I can teach you not to keep creating karma. All right, so that's what's happening is that when you create the divine child, right, that's what the priest was there. He was there to say, all right, woman, it's not about just having sex. I'm going to show you how this is done. First, we got to learn. First, I need you to see some things about yourself. Right, and so that's why that priest was there. Okay, now you're done serving. You can either stay and serve as a nun, or you can go out and be your own woman in the world. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. And so that was the reason. That's how the church started. It was the priest was teaching these women, and he was enlightening these women, and they could have stayed and been with the priest and created, or they could have went back out in the world and said, okay, I want to be a mommy to someone else. But of course, they had to go back to the priest. And the priest had to make sure everybody was on the same accord. And he taught both of them. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. And so that's the idea is that, we don't have those strong divine masculine men in their places, right? Mm-hmm. And there's not many men who can enlighten a woman, because even the slave master do that. They inflicted women pain and suffering into the woman that she would recreate the same energy. So just imagine, if you had a priest put enlightenment into that woman, all right, he reversed the polarities. Instead of having more pain and suffering, he says, I'm going to enlighten that woman, and I'm going to make her smarter, wiser. Then guess what's going to happen? She's going to produce something that's smarter and wiser than her, right? And that's how you change the karmic wheel. So now when your creation is on earth, your creation is doing an even better deed than you.
Oh, it came back. I lost my thought, but I'm just saying, either you're a bystander or you're in the game. Mm-hmm. Either you're going to find out you're in the game and you know your role, or you're just a bystander. Mm-hmm. That's it. We got bystanders and we got people actually playing the game. Mm-hmm. And right now we are playing the game. It's either you're in it to win it, or you just going back into the karmic loop. Yeah. And you're just going to do this shit over again. Because
what's happening is you go out there and you say, oh, he look good, but that motherfucker got karma. Mm-hmm. And I'm cursing right now, but I'm real. He got karma. So guess what? You made with him.
Nothing to do with
right. You made with him, and guess what? You creating karma because he got ignorance and you got ignorance. Right? That's how karma is created. But you have somebody who's enlightened, right? Then you create something that's going to come out and it's going to evolve very easily. You're going to know that the DNA is so intelligent that it's going to evolve and make it through its full cycle and make it to completion. Why? Because the creation will sometimes be better than the creation itself. Sometimes it'll become a more advanced creation, right? And that's the idea that when the creator creates a thing and then it come back and it surpasses him. That's the idea, is that I want my seed to do better than me. That's the goal. Because if my seed does better than me, then guess what? No karma. Right? No karma. No karma.
For the next generation.
My seed didn't do harm to nobody. My seed came and did an even greater work than me. Why? Why? All right. That's the energy that we have to start looking at, that when we're creating babies, right? Women, that's how you have to start. It's through evolution. Ascension for women is a little different from men. Women, you have to find a man that's going to be able to deliver that golden child, that golden goose, right? So when you are manifesting with the Creator, he says, Creator, you know what? I wasn't the brightest, right? But I found a bright man, and he had a bright seed, and we had a bright baby, right? So I wasn't smart intelligently, but I was smart enough to know how to figure out the right man to mate with. Sometimes that's the intelligence a woman needs, right, to make sure that her seeds can survive. It's about your seed surviving to go into completion and serving. So if you are not bringing your own individual gifts, well, if you're going to be selfish, make sure that you're learning some shit that's going to be able to give back to the world. Or you better create a child that's going to give to the world. Either or, all right, but you got to bring something to the offer that's going to be of light.
That would be sometimes your middle child. If you have three, usually that middle child will be the special child that you have that you're giving back to the world, or also you could be a portal child. There's this nigga out here named Nature Boy telling people leave their children. Your child could be your greatest work. That your child could be actually your ascension, and we got this nigga telling people leave their children and come follow him. you are evil. And I know you be watching us. You're evil. And you're going to catch some shit, for real.
Chris asks, and does the time that you were born affect the ascension chart? No, because the time, that has to deal with your natal chart and certain characteristics and ego. This chart is about your ascent. It's not about, hey, all these other specifics. You all were born on this day. On this day, these frequencies were the dominant frequencies that came down. Now, if it depends on the harmonics, where you were born in more shade or more light, that's about saying that you were born 50 or positive 50, right? So you could be born in the early morning, or you can be born in the evening. That's just temperature, right? The different locations of where the planets are. So when we look at, the vibration is still the same.
And usually the charts, the ascension charts, actually match up with the astrology. So it's very intricate, but it's simple and it's easy to understand. And we hope y'all get it. Yeah, we cussed a lot. Spirituality isn't about being perfect. It's about passion. It's about realness. And if anybody tells you that we never look at anybody's sexuality, what they're doing, and judging it, we only are good judges of what we're supposed to say and deliver the message, and you take it how you take it.
Yeah. So, that's today's sermon on Monday.
We had to get a little bit real with y'all, because whatever's channeled in, you can't be afraid to express it and just give it. And look, we both got on blue today.
Oh, yeah, but we communicate.
Expression, community, throat chakra. So I hope you received it. Love, like, and share. If you want Ascension chart, inbox us your birthday and year. $65 for the progress chart, $45 for the children's chart. And hey, if you tuned into us, get 20% off. Just tell us what you actually watched, and we will give you that 20% off. Hit us up.
Yep. So y'all got some divine keys today. I don't think I need to keep delivering some more information. Sometimes the information gets a little old and we got to move on to something new. But I appreciate all of you for tuning in.
All the people who stayed on.
We just appreciate the people who even watch this, because it's very hard to communicate positivity to the world. And we need people, even the 4, 5, 6, or even the 100, 200 people that watch this. We appreciate you sharing and even listening this long to even hear this message. So, I can only thank you and be in gratitude for that.
Right.
So
peace out.
Peace out. Enjoy your night.